So first, let me just talk about Yamato's official color scheme, because we're actually seeing that for the first time with this issue of Jump. And it looks pretty good. Definitely Oda paying homage to Senku from Dr. Stone. There's no coincidence there. Although she does differ a little bit because it goes into like a bluish, tealish color at the very end of her hair. So she has like 3 different shades. But I'm still kind of confused about the horns that Yamato has. Like Black Maria has them. A few of the other Flying Six had them. Like, are these like aesthetic? Are they ornamental? Or do they literally have these horns? With Black Maria, it looks more so like she actually has them. With Yamato, it's undecided. So it's like, what's going on with these horns? It's never been explained as far as I know. But anyway, to the chapter, we're seeing Big Mom talking to Marco, and this is kind of a big deal. These are 2 significant characters pretty much meeting on panel for the first time as far as I know. And they're talking about how, you know, their alliance, their short alliance that Marco and Perosperos had is coming to an end because, you know, Big Mom is explaining that, you know, hey, I'm in an alliance with Kaido. You can't take him down. I'm trying to work on something here. And we're getting more insight into what Big Mom is getting out of this alliance, more so than it just being an alliance with one of the strongest characters in the series. But it seems like she has her own ulterior motives, which we should have assumed from the start. Like, Big Mom is definitely not someone to be trusted. But Perosperos, like, you know, we always wanted to see you be the Pirate King. And she's like, oh, you don't trust me? So I'm assuming that there's going to be double backstabbery here. Like I've been talking about in the previous reviews that I've done so far, that I think Kaido is going to have something to do with the downfall of Big Mom in this arc. I don't see her making it out of this arc at least completely unscathed. Worst case scenario, she's just dies in this arc. Best case is she's nerfed or just is no longer a threat after this arc or something like that happens. But I'm really expecting at least some point for Big Mom and Kaido to like earnestly fight each other. But it's like, there's gonna be a lot to get to that. And it might not even happen because Kaido has to fight quite a few people so far. I mean, he's fighting the Scabbards, which we're going to talk about, has to fight Luffy, and then Big Mom would come after that, and maybe there's some others. I don't know. I mean, this arc is kind of all over the place at this point anyway, and anything could happen since anything has been happening. It's kind of been like musical chairs with this battle, even more chaotic than Marineford, or it's getting there, I'll say. So before we get into the big battle, we're just going to touch on those few panels that show us what's going on with the other storylines, which there are many going on right now. But one of them is Carrot going after Perospero, and she says, you know, I'm trying to avenge Pedro. So are we going to see Carrot take on Perospero here? I guess. I mean, she can go Sulong. The full moon is still out, but is Sulong Carrot enough to take down Perospero? He's pretty strong. I mean, maybe this could be her big victory, but man, her taking down someone with a 700 million plus bounty just seems unlikely at this point, although it could happen, I guess. But anyway, coming to the big battle between the Scabbards and the Kaido, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what we've all been waiting for. We've just wanted to see the Scabbards finally go toe-to-toe with Kaido, no cutting away, you know, no beating around the bush. This is the cleanest it has ever been, and it's delivering. It's a pretty great battle, and I like that it's not one-sided in the way that we thought it was going to be. Like, the Scabbards are legitimately putting up a really good fight here. Actually, this chapter is mostly Kaido getting beat down, which is like surprising to see at this point because he's been built up as this nigh unbeatable character at this point. I mean, we saw what happened when Luffy went against him. So to see these characters doing so well against him, it's almost kind of surreal. But an interesting little thing here is at the beginning, they're like, his roaring is turning to lightning. Now, I'm assuming that this is one of the fundamentals or the properties of Conquerors Haki, probably, or this might be another ability that Kaido has from his fruit. I'm going to assume that it's the Conquerors Haki. Like, he's just so adept at it that he could just, like, shoot the Conquerors, like, lightning that we've seen time and time again throughout the series. So we see them all kind of doing their own thing, which is pretty cool. They're all like going after Kaido in their own way, and they're doing damage to him. They're like piercing his skin somewhat, or just inflicting damage to some degree. And he's like, you know, none of their attacks bear resemblance to Odin's blades, which is understandable. They're all not individually as strong as Odin, as at least it has been portrayed so far, but yet they can still damage him. And I think this has to go into what we're seeing later on in the chapter when we see the flashback of Odin. He's like, okay, first of all, here's the thing about Rio. And then he's like, listen to me. So we don't see what happens after that, but I assume even though they disregard his two-sword style, or at least so far what we've seen in the flashbacks, he does teach them like, hey, this is how you do Rio, and here's like pretty much the way to hurt Kaido. Now, he's obviously not saying like, hey, use this to hurt Kaido, but the fundamentals of Rio. But the fundamentals of Rio are what is needed to hurt somebody like Kaido. I mean, that's obviously why Luffy has undergone that training in Udon prison, because obviously he's going to use that to hurt Kaido. He literally says it himself. He's like, oh, I could use this to hurt Kaido because in the first time he fought him, his attacks weren't affecting him. But coming to a pretty cool and somewhat problematic part of this chapter is Rizzo like using that scroll to like contain the blast breath and then use it against Kaido. Like I said, very cool sequence, but Rizzo says that my scrolls can wrap around anything in existence. But it's like, but why? How does that work? I mean, I'm just gonna have to accept it, but it's like everything has kind of been explained up to this point with like hockey and all that stuff. So like, what is the fundamental of this scroll and that it can do anything in existence? You know what I mean? I mean, it's cool, or maybe we should just accept it for what it is. But then we're coming to the end of the chapter where 4 of the Scabbards used, you know, two-sword style in homage to Odin, you know, showing that they actually did take into consideration some of the things he was saying. And I guess this is more so muscle memory, since they technically didn't like officially learn it from him, but they're all hitting him with like a group attack, the Paradise Totsuka, and this is, you know, hurting Kaido right in the same scar where Odin hurt him. So how is Kaido going to react to this? I mean, this isn't going to defeat him, highly doubt it, but it's definitely going to hurt him. I assume this is softening him up for Luffy more so than anything, but this might cause Kaido to get serious, because obviously he hasn't been like 100% serious at this point, or else things would have been different, I assume. So maybe after this he's like, okay, you guys have proven that I need to go all out against you, and then he goes into his hybrid Zoan form, which we have yet to see. That's going to be a big reveal, and I assume once he goes into that, that's when the tables are going to turn and he's going to start wrecking the Scabbards, and that's when Luffy and the others come into play. But let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments. If you like the review, guys, please give it a like, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100K before the end of the year. Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. Also have a Twitch and a Patreon. Check those out too, please. Have a great day. See you in the next one.